Musings of a No-Self, Part 3, Unity and Singularity. Hello, this is Shores of Infinity with a video about Unity and Singularity. We have talked already about Trinity and Duality. Now, what about Unity? In spirituality, what is meant with unity? What do these gurus and sages and prophets mean when they say they feel one with the divine or one with the world, that they only perceive oneness? Seriously, what does this really mean, oneness? How can you feel one? Not only one with everything, but how can you feel that everything is actually only one? Well, you can't. If you feel that everything is one, there are already two. It only works if there's no one left. The drop of the water into the ocean analogy. It only works if you cut through all the bullshit. Especially the bullshit you don't want to see. The bullshit that you cling to. That you don't want to give up, that you don't want to expose. As long as there's any bullshit left, the only thing you perceive is illusion. If you really only want to perceive the truth, the unity, then you have to give up everything, all the illusions. Everything that you cannot prove, everything that you just believe, that you don't know. And what can you know? Almost nothing. As Jet McKenna explains very well again and again, the only thing you can know is I perceive, I am aware. That's it. Everything else is belief. And belief only proliferates into more belief, more opinions, more illusion. And Maya is having a field time. You cannot get rid of the illusion of multiplicity and separation and so on by believing in some bullshit and not believing in another bullshit. You have to give up all the bullshit. And what is bullshit? Almost everything. And what's the biggest bullshit? That any technique, any path of philosophy, spirituality, psychology, religion, politics, economy will set you free. There is no method that will set you free. There even is no you who could be set free. Thus, there also cannot be a wish to be set free. The longing for enlightenment, the longing for unity, for reunification with the divine, with the everything, with the absolute, is itself part of Maya, of the illusion. It keeps you busy, keeps you distracted. It gives you the illusion that this path is really good, while all the others are not. This is the method at last that will set you free. No, it's another layer of illusion. And that is why unity is not a helpful word. You cannot even imagine unity, let alone feel it, because you need a subject to feel an object. And there are no subjects and no objects. The better word is singularity. There's a singularity happening like a black hole. And if you really surrender, give up everything, expose all beliefs as beliefs, then you get sucked into this black hole, into this abyss, and get crushed, and something will come out on the other side of the black hole, on the other side of the singularity. This something is something else. It's not an I anymore. It's not a person anymore who believes. It's an empty vessel who has met the one singularity, the one thing that really exists. that is really true. The one point that was there before the Big Bang, where there's no space, no time, no Maya. Do you really want that? Do you really want to get sucked into this black hole, get crushed and spit out on the other end as an empty husk? No, of course not, because it's not fun. Enlightenment is not about fun. It's not about feeling comfortable or happy. It's about seeing the truth. It's about being the singularity. And then what? Then nothing. There's nothing to do. You can do things, but there's really nothing to do. Once you expose Maya as Maya, once you see through all the delusions and illusions, all the fun and drama is out of it. Most people who say they want enlightenment want to get away from the drama into some ineffable feeling of bliss that they heard about. But bliss is just feeling the flow of the universe. Bliss is just seeing the perfection of the illusion. Bliss is just enjoying the whole cosmic joke. But bliss is not a person feeling happy. Bliss is not the end of pain and suffering. It is the end of drama, but not the end of pain and suffering. You still have a body that can feel pain and suffering. Ted McKenna comes up with another really cool analogy that just comes to mind, is that there are 3 stages of consciousness, of awareness. One is asleep in the dream. The second is awake in the dream. And the third one is awake from the dream. People who suffer from the illusion of separation are in the dream, either asleep in the dream, that's most, or some are awake in the dream. But they're all still in the dream. It's like in the cave metaphor of Plato. It's either you're bound to the chair or you can run around in the cave, but you're still in the cave. Once you leave the cave, you're awake from the dream. You're not dreaming anymore. You're not sleeping anymore. Then there's only awareness. There's only awakeness. And there is singularity. There's the sun. There is blinding light in contrast to the darkness and obscurity of the cave. That's why this state is called enlightenment. So actually there are only 2 stages, enlightened or not enlightened. And it really doesn't matter, because those 2 stages are either the stage of separation or of unity. There are no 2 or 3 or 20 or 12 or 100 or 1,000 stages that can happen to a person. If you are a person, you feel separation, you're in the dream. If you're not a person, you feel unity, singularity, not a dream. The only way to get there, whatever there is to give up the identification with you being a person. That's it. But as long as you still want to enjoy the movie, the drama, as long as there's still something you want to experience or learn, no enlightenment is possible. Because enlightenment is the end of the story, the end of your story, the end of all stories. Then there's no story left. Then there's only one. One alone. Do you want to be alone? Do you want to be the only being that there really is, alone? I call bullshit. Most probably you don't want that. No one wants that. Not even the singularity, That's why this whole Maya has been created. You want connection, right? Connection with what? Connection with whom? If you're the only thing that truly exists, then you're also everything. There's no connection with something or someone else. If you're comfortable alone by yourself, what are you doing watching a YouTube video? As long as you're not comfortable sitting on a park bench watching the birds for 5 hours, there's nothing in you that is ready for enlightenment. And why should there? It's an abomination. It's an aberration to be enlightened. That's not the purpose of creation. It is allowed, but it's not the purpose of creation. So very few will jump into the abyss, into the black hole. And all the others will stay in the dream or will re-enter the dream willingly. That's what bodhisattva is. If you have seen the sun, if you have been outside of the cave and go back into the cave, that's bodhisattva, no matter if this was a previous life or this one. Plato asks this question. Socrates asks this question. Why would anyone go back into the cave? Why does Morpheus free Neo in the Matrix and so on? Not to help anyone, only to not experience aloneness, loneliness. That's the gist of all creation myths. The one being creates multiplicity to not be alone. The one being first creates a partner, for example, and then children, and then animals and trees and so on. Why? Why create anything at all? What is the purpose of creation? That is something to ponder.